What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about some PlayStation games at D23. Will they happen? A few days ago, I talked about 5 games that I think, could potentially happen at D23. They ranged. You got the Kingdom Hearts of the world, Indiana Jones of the world, right? Fortnite, all different levels of possibility, right? Honestly, I'm not expecting too much. There's been talk that gaming is going to be a really big part of D23. I'll take it. If you can give me 2, 3, 4 Disney-inspired, fused kind of game, oh my God, I'm all for that, right? However, I'm kind of keeping my expectations low. That way, if they show something big, I'll be pleasantly surprised, right? So, in that video, we went through a couple games. There were some superhero games. I actually think Rise of Hydra is one of the more likely, possibilities to be at D23. So I want to talk about Wolverine, and I want to talk about that rumored, not rumored, Spider-Man 2 DLC, right? Do they have any chance? Now, there's other superhero games, the Iron Man game, right? Black Panther. There's actually more than just, even the first video and now this video. Again, I don't think you're going to get too many of them. But let me just make a pitch, right? Let me just throw it out there for Wolverine and Spider-Man, because while I don't think these two are going to be there, okay? Let me just say that early on. I don't think Spider-Man 2 DLC exists at all, and then Wolverine I just don't think is going to be a D23, okay? That's my opinion, that's my prediction. But if I was going to play devil's advocate against myself and say, well, could it be there? It could. It absolutely could. So the thing that I would think of is, let's just go against the belief or the want for a PlayStation Showcase. That's the best way I think you get Wolverine, specifically, because, again, I don't really think Spider-Man 2 DLC is coming, but if you're not getting a PlayStation Showcase, it opens up everything around it, right? Like, you have Hideo Kojima going probably with Death Stranding 2 to Tokyo Game Show at the end of September. Again, if you're playing devil's advocate, you're thinking, all right, if you don't do a showcase, you got to show off the Lego Horizons. You got to show off Astrobot because it's still in the same month it comes out. Yeah, you can put Astrobot in Tokyo to do that game show, right? You can do all that stuff. Death Stranding 2, that comes out next fall probably, right? So we want to show it, but we don't have a showcase. Let's give it the Tokyo Game Show. We've had this actually happen with the Jeff Keighley events, right? Where it's like, do they even hold back for some stupid reason with their own state of plays, with their own showcases, to then just give stuff to Jeff Keighley, right? And we just got that with Summer Game Fest. So I think it is possible, that line of thinking, where even if there is a showcase, they might purposely not show something there to just show it somewhere else, weakening their own event, right? Which is why I just have a dumbfounded, stupid face on. But it's because I can't actually believe that they would do something like that. But honestly, they've done it quite often. Quite often, they will hold back seemingly, and because we don't actually know, right? But it seems like they hold back and they just give it to somebody else to do it. And you think of D23, you think of Gamescom, you think of Tokyo Game Show. These are all within month and a half range of when a potential PlayStation Showcase would happen or not happen. Even if it doesn't happen, Tokyo Game Show is kind of like their grand return to Tokyo Game Show, right? You could do stuff. And then, okay, so that's part one. They could do stuff. If you don't have a showcase, you can hand it out to other things. All right, well, why D23? Disney. You just tie in the Marvel brand. You got to think, right? And the thing is, Disney is ambiguous. We do know of Epic Mickey. That game specifically is going to D23. Now, that is literally Mickey Mouse, right? Disney, all that stuff. But you can have Marvel things. And it's why I think, to my first video, the video a few days ago, I think Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's a game that's somewhat close. We haven't seen a lot. I feel correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they announce it at D23 a few years back? That could be wrong, but maybe it's also correct. Or the first time they showed it off. So it is possible, a game under the Marvel brand, Wolverine, Spider-Man. And then, okay, so there's part 2, right? It's got the Marvel connection. So you're immediately qualified. Doesn't mean you have to go, but you're qualified. And you might be looking for a potential showcase opportunity for these games, for a Wolverine, right? I guess the third and final point is looking at the proximity of when these games would come out. Wolverine, I know we go back and forth of 2025, 2026, but it's still within, well, it depends on how long your reach is, but it's still relatively within reach, and I mean, we've seen games that are coming out further out than it. We've seen games being shown off. We have so much of the leak stuff for Wolverine, and I mean, it is technically official, but without being directly coming from them. But we haven't gotten what they want us to see, their trailers, their gameplay. So I think there's always an opportunity, right? So Wolverine, that's probably where things start to break apart, right? Like Wolverine's something that you do want to see, but then you start to wonder well, is it too far away? If it doesn't come out next fall, is it out of reach, right? Like, is it something that you wouldn't show until maybe next year because it comes out in 2026? Okay, now if you do throw in the supposed maybe not Spider-Man 2 DLC, that one I'd hear you out on. You know what I mean? Because that one, the longer we go, it's got to show up. It's got to show up eventually in these next couple events. Otherwise, it doesn't exist. And I'm going to be very, very strong on that. Again, I don't really think it does in the first place, but if we go through August with Gamescom and D23, 2 opportunities to do it, by the way. We go into September. If it's not at a showcase, if they have one, and it's also not a Tokyo Game Show, which might not be the best place for it, but still it's an event that Sony's going to have a really big part of. Well, when are they going to announce it? Is this DLC coming out a year and a half, 2 years after the game? Well, now it's close to Wolverine. Now it's close to Venom. Now it's close to they're working on Spider-Man 3. They were rushed to do Spider-Man 2 anyway, so, like, do you really think they're doing it in the first place? I mean, we've talked about this before, right? But I would say for that one, okay, I would hear you out in terms of, like, proximity, because if it does release soon, you got to show it off. D23 would make a pretty good, place to show off Spider-Man 2 DLC. At the same time, you have all the other stuff. So there you go. I'm really interested. Like, I'm really excited to see what they do at D23. My expectations, I know I've talked about a lot of games at this, 7 basically, right? Maybe even 8 games that are potentials, but I got to be real. Like, my expectations are so low. My expectations are right now, Epic Mickey, which is confirmed. You can't be disappointed on that. Epic Mickey and, like, Fortnite, which Fortnite would be a big deal for a lot of people, just not me. That's my, like, floor, and that's, like, where I'm at right now. If they show a Kingdom Hearts, God bless them. If they show Indiana Jones, if they show Star Wars Outlaws, if they show one of these Marvel games, that would be pretty sweet. I guess depending on which ones you're actually talking about, but, that would be great. I'm not expecting. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.